Hey friend, Roger Christopherson here again with another first listen review. Got a little bit behind on my listening this week, so I was going to do like 3 separate ones on these, but I got way behind. There's actually another one. I wanted to get to the Black Sabbath box set, and I just haven't even had a chance to get that one even listened to yet, so I'm kind of bummed about that. But I got these 3 under my belt, and I wanted to give them a couple good listens before I wanted to do anything, make any comments or any type of judgment on them or whatever you want to call it. So I'm just going to do these kind of like really quick, just so if anybody out there is wondering, if they're worth getting or not, or what I think of them, or if they want to share their views on what you guys think of this stuff, then feel free. But first one I was checking out was Joan Jett. She released this EP of theirs called Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. The new digital EP called Mindsets, which I did download last week when it became available, and I thought it was, I like Joan Jett. She's just, been probably the first girl that got me into listening to females in rock. Hate to say it, but way back when I was younger, I listened to a lot of dudes, because I think it's when we're young. I don't know, it's just my opinion, but when you're into music, you kind of want to pretend you're whoever it is, singing or playing the guitar or drums or whatever. So when you're listening to a girl singing, you're not pretending that you're the girl singing when you're kids. But I think as we get older, we just appreciate the female singing, and we're not really trying to imagine it's us being them, rock stars or whatever. I don't know. That's just maybe I'm just shooting in the dark here. I don't know, but either way, I remember when she first came onto the scene. It was with her second album, I Love Rock and Roll, and all that. And I actually remember buying the single, and then, because that's really what we did back in those days. And, I think I tried to think what was on the B-side. I think it was like Little Drummer Boy or something like that. Maybe it was even Crimson and Clover. I can't remember what was on the B-side of that one. But if anybody remembers, refresh my brain out there. But I've always just kind of liked her since then. I was in a band that did a couple of her songs. I Love Rock and Roll, Hate Myself for Loving You. If I'm not mistaken, Desmond Child helped her write that one, or may have written it all himself. I don't even know. But anyway, she was out on the road with Poison, Def Leppard, and Motley Crue this past year, so she's still out there doing it. I've seen a few concerts of hers. I haven't actually been to see her live, which is really strange that I haven't. But I've watched a few shows of hers, and she just really does what she does really well. So I've always enjoyed it. So anyway, as far as this goes, it's pretty much what I expected. There's one song that's on here, and I just think maybe it sounded a little bit out of the norm than from what she's done. But it's always good to shake things up a little bit. But basically, it's her doing what she does, almost like pop punk rock type stuff, and all these songs were pretty good. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about it other than if you like Joan Jett, you're gonna like this. It was fun. There was one, it was kind of country sounding, but other than that, it was almost, actually, I wouldn't even say country sounding. It was almost like everybody sitting around the bar singing a song, drinking song type songs. I don't know how else to explain it other than that. But anyway, I really enjoyed that one. I would recommend anybody that's a Joan Jett fan go out and check that one out. The other one I just got done listening to, actually just finished this one this morning, was a Roger Waters. He just finally released the Lockdown Sessions. All this stuff was actually previously released. He had done a bunch of YouTube videos for each one of these, and finally put it all together on one thing and put it out all together. And some of it was pretty close to what the original was, but a few of these he changed up a little bit, and actually the ones he changed up I actually like better than the original versions. Well, aside from one of them, but I'll get to that. He's got Mother, Two Suns in the Sunset, which were pretty close to what the original was, I think. But I just, politics aside, Roger Waters can come across as being kind of a jerk to some people, and he can be really motivational to some other people. I don't want to go down that lane. He's always had politics in his music, but this seems like over the past few years he's just become like a grumpy old man, so I don't know what's going on with him. And it's hard to keep that in mind when you're listening to his music sometimes, and just just enjoyed the artistry, but he was like a big inspiration to me when I was younger, and he told stories, and those kind of depressing stories. I actually remember listening to radio KAOS when I was really young, and I thought that was kind of an interesting, cool little story there, even though probably not one of his best albums musically. I thought the story was actually interesting, and it inspired me to write something, not that like that, but just a story when I was younger with music and all that stuff. So very inspirational to me. But number 3 on here, Vera, which I didn't like at all. I don't like that song at all on the original Wall album. Here I thought it was really cool. I thought, oh, if that's what he had in mind right from the start, that's pretty cool. I actually enjoyed that. Next 2 songs, so Gunner's Dream, Bravery of Being Out of Range, I thought they actually were done really well. Songs that you probably wouldn't normally think of listening to when you think of Pink Floyd, because a couple of these were from the Final Cut thing there that a lot of people don't like. I actually like that album, but a lot of people don't. I think they actually probably sounded more like together with the other songs here when he threw them in and made this whole group of songs sound more like a unit. The one that I thought was really odd was the Comfortably Numb version, where he had that's completely different. I was kind of surprised he actually chose that song. It was more known as a Gilmour song than anything else, and those two aren't getting along so well lately. But good song. I mean, it's one of their most well-known songs, and probably I think it's probably somewhere along the lines it's known for having like 2 of the best guitar solos like ever recorded on it. A lot of people think. I personally love the solos on this song as well. Actually, with the last band that I was in, we actually did a little version. We did an acoustic version of the song. We didn't do the big solo or anything, but it was just a fun song to do. Instead of the solo, he has a female singing the solo part, but it's not trying to copy it. It's just kind of like reminiscent of Dark Side of the Moon, where they had the girl singing on that one, just doing something similar to that. And I thought, you know what? Why would you try to copy the solo? This was actually probably the smartest thing you could do, kind of like bring in something from a different album and intertwine it with this version of Comfortably Numb. I thought it was actually I thought it was a smart thing to do, and I really enjoyed listening to it. So I've seen a couple of people out there that, because I was stupid and watched some other people's opinions on this before listening to it myself, and which I try not to do when I know I'm gonna do a review, because I don't want it to influence my review. But I was like, I totally disagree with what one of the guys said, that he didn't do anything for him, and they were very close to the originals. These are not close to originals. These are actually done very uniquely. But anyway, I enjoyed it. So if anybody out there is a Roger Waters fan, you're going to like this. If you're not, it probably isn't going to drag you in and make you like it. If you take sides with the David Gilmour, Roger Waters feud, try to get that out of your head and just listen to this for what it is, which is just, I thought it was a really good listening. The songs are really long on here too. It clocks in like 39 minutes. There's only 6 songs, which for me is fine, but other people may not care for that, but it doesn't bother me at all. I actually really liked it. So another one I would recommend. Now, the last one here that I actually just got done listening to is Rival Sons, Darkfighter. I freaking love this band. It's weird because I really don't know anything about this band at all. I've gotten every single one of their albums, and I just put it in, and I love it. I've really never dug deep into their history or who's in it or the people are in it or anything like that, what their past. I don't know anything about this band other than every album I bought I love. This one didn't change that at all. Another win. It's only 8 songs, but it still clocks in like 40 minutes. This is a band that it's hard to describe what these guys are like. They have a very unique sound. The singer has a style that I don't think sounds like anybody else. It's hard to describe. It's got a high range, but it's really clear, but a lot of power. They tend to use a lot of distortion on the vocals, which some people like, some people don't. I think it works well with what they do. A lot of fuzz on the guitars, but they're like cool, hard rockin' riffs. They actually took a couple little chances on here and did a couple slower, more acoustic songs on here, which I really liked those songs too. It's at first listen, I didn't care for it too much, but after because I wanted it to rock. I'm not gonna lie, I wanted this thing to rock, but they threw a couple slow ones in there. I was like, eh. But then after listening to it again, I was like, okay, I get it. It's cool. And I didn't know at first, but after doing a little bit of reading, I noticed that this is part one of a 2-disc set. They're going to be releasing the second part end of the year around October. That one's going to be called Lightbringer. So this one's Darkfighter, and then they're going to be doing Lightbringer. I guess they recorded all the songs together, and it's not really a concept or anything like that. They just decided to do couple albums like really close to each other, as far as I can tell. That's what the intention was. So if there's something else I'm missing there that somebody else knows about these guys that I haven't discovered yet, feel free to fill me in and the rest of us in on what's going on there. But as far as I know, these are just like fat sounding riffs that just pull you in and grab you with really catchy vocals. I wouldn't say they're hooky or chorusy or anything like that, but very strong vocals. Just really rock solid, groovy. I don't even know how to describe it. They're a hard band to describe, but they have a little bit of a classic rock sound to them, but really hard, grooving riffs. It's really hard to describe. Think of like a really, really heavy Zeppelin riff, and add a little bit of funk feel to it with a really strong, powerful vocal over the top. Not that Robert Plant wasn't strong, but like more like a shouty, singy type vocal instead of just singing. He's got a really strong, powerful vocal. It almost sounds like it's distorting, but I think that's just the effect they put on it on a lot of the stuff, which works well for this band. So, as you can tell, it's very hard to describe what it sounds like, but love it. There's nothing these guys have put out that I don't like. So, anyway, there you go. 3 albums in a row. Boom, boom, boom. Stuff I've been listening to that I unfortunately fell behind on a little bit this week. I'm going to be breaking out the Black Sabbath probably tonight, just in time for all the new releases tomorrow. So I'm already behind on everything, but it never keeps me from listening to everything at some point anyway. But so I feel free to like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff that I always mention, and if you want to comment on what you guys have been listening to this week, or if you have any opinions on what I've just been talking about, feel free to put them on the comments down below. And until then, we'll talk to you guys next time. See ya.